Welcome to Merryfield's Gardening Advisor, brought to you by the experts at Merryfield Garden Center. Join us as we discover beautiful plants, new trends, and exciting ideas for your landscape. So let's get growing together. Merryfield's Gardening Advisor, bringing out the best in your garden.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Merryfield's Gardening Advisor. I'm your host, Debbie Warhurst-Kapp, along with gardening expert and decorating expert, Peg Beer. And we are so glad you could join us this morning. We are not in our usual set.
It's very nice. I feel very
nice.
At home. I've
That's
got lots of mess all the way around me.
We're borrowing the Let's Talk Live set today, so this is a fun experience. We're enjoying this.
It is.
So we've got a great show for you today. First of all, the holidays are here. It's such a fun time of year. Lots going on, and I know you're busy, so we appreciate you being here with us this morning. You've got holiday parties, Christmas is coming up, but Hanukkah starts this week, which is wonderful. So we want to be sure to wish everyone a joyous holiday celebration, Hanukkah celebration. I was looking through the store at our little Hanukkah section, and they were the cutest little ornaments. I don't know if you could see these, but I just thought these were adorable. Aren't
They
those cute?
are. They're sweet. I like the colors.
I know. Love that. And the pretty blue balls and that type of thing. So that was great. So today we are talking about one of the most fun parts, I think, about decorating, because it brings so much into the home, not only the beauty but the aroma, fresh greens.
And that's really what people are looking for inside, is the fragrance of Christmas in the natural things. And so hopefully today we'll be able to help you with some of the mechanics behind that, because it really is not difficult to do. And as long as you're happy with it, everybody else will be, you know. Actually, there is an arrangement here on the table as we come and go that you'll be able to see. And in the next segment, I'm going to tell you how I created that and how you can do it easily if you sort of follow those simple instructions, you know. And this particular arrangement is one that you would use on your dining table or in an area that would not restrict your conversation, because you just don't want to do that.
That's for sure. No. It's gorgeous. Well, she has lots to show today, so hope you'll stay tuned. A couple of quick announcements. If you haven't seen Santa yet, you can come see Santa at all three Merryfield Garden Center locations. And at our website, merryfieldgardencenter.com, you will see the schedule at each one, because they're a little different at each location. And as you know, if you've been in this area for the past 30 or plus years, our Santa at our Merryfield location has always been collecting toys for needy children. He's been collecting new or gently used toys, and he will continue to do that. He's doing that this year. In addition, this year at our Gainesville and Fair Oaks location, we are a Toys for Tots location. So if you have a new unwrapped toy and you'd like to drop that off, we would be happy to take that for you. So that's a great
wonderful thing to do, I think.
It really is. Wanted to mention too, my dad, Bob Warhurst, is going to be doing another book signing today and tomorrow from 10 to noon at our Fair Oaks location, and tomorrow from 10:30 to noon, I believe, at our Gainesville location. Now, sometimes he gets there a little early, sometimes he stays a little late. And if he's not there, you miss him, you know, if you want to get a book signed, we can take care of that for you too. But actually, later in the show today, we have a very special guest. My brother, Kevin Warhurst, who is kind of project manager of the book, is going to be on with us, and he's going to tell us all about it. So
a few
stay
highlights.
tuned. A few highlights, that's right. So that'll be fun. I'm excited about that.
And there are some highlights.
There definitely are. Want to make sure you stop by and pick up your calendar at Merryfield Garden Center. These are free. We're very proud of those. So just come on in and pick one up, and you will love it. We're open every day till 9 at all locations, through December 23rd. Then we'll close a little early on the 24th, and then we'll start our different holiday hours. So, and today we're not going to be taking any phone calls because we've got a lot to talk about.
Time is getting short.
It is. It is.
As much as you can.
So let's tease them a little with some. You've got a couple of cute pictures.
Yes, I did, and fun, because we really don't want to lose track of that. That there should be a lot of pleasure in doing all of this. And so I tucked in these pictures. Now, I've got to tell you a little bit of the story behind these. This is the creation of our fantastic Stephanie
Oh, wow.
out at the
This is
Fair
so
Oaks
cute.
location. And it's a wonderful form that she's created the dress with evergreens and the peacock feathers. And then, but actually the first one she created was, maybe it was the Lady in Waiting, because
Oh, could
she's
be, yeah.
not as, let's bring that one up, because I thought that one was really, really cute until she created the
I
next
know.
one. But it was great fun because a couple of weeks after she had done these, we saw in the Post that the White House has one of these.
Really?
Except the peacock feathers, I think, are jewels, okay?
Aw.
But we love ours. Now, this is part of the fun. And there's things going on at all three locations, so I don't mean to be prejudiced, but I happen to be at Fair Oaks most of the time.
Right.
But there's Santa Claus, and Santa Claus has a new house that's fun, and places for the kids to color while they're
know, it
waiting.
really is fun.
And then you can watch the gentlemen making our custom wreaths, which is so interesting, and you can. Well, they've got stuff going on at the other two places too, so don't let me digress. Okay.
Of course. We've got about a minute and a half before we need to go to break. Do you want to get us started on a bow?
Let's just quickly do
Okay.
that. Decorating and part of the season, and a very important part of it, are the ribbons. And actually, they're fairly simple if you don't worry about that first little loop. So let me do this one without that.
Okay.
It's really back and forth. So actually, you just gather your ribbon up. You make your first loop. You go to the back. Oh, that camera shows it so
Yes.
nicely. See? You turn it because it's one-sided ribbon, and you put a loop on the up. Debbie, make yourself.
I
useful.
will. I will do that.
Here we go. Here we go. You turn it, and you place. I place my loops as I go. Place right behind the last thing you did, and then you turn it, and you place a loop over here. Now, let's put one in between.
Okay.
As you see, I have to go back and forth. Otherwise, you'll drop that loop, and that's no fun. Just start over. There. You turn it. You make another loop. Here we go. And then you turn it. And this is your second streamer. And then I pick up.
Oh, good.
you
You
got-
had one. I didn't
See,
see
I
the
knew
wrapped
she
wire there,
you
so
would
I was
do
ready.
it. This is a little fine wire. Fine wire is how you make really good bows. 26 or 28 gauge. Put that over what you're holding. Now there's a little sleight of hand because I shift that thumb into place to hold tight while I move this one out. Then I shift it back again. Pull it tight. Twist hard. Fluff it just a little bit. Now, you don't have to worry about that loop. The loop is wonderful, but you don't have to do that.
Right. It depends on what you're using
See?
it for, too.
How about that?
That's great.
Thank you, Debbie, for
Oh,
being my
right.
helper here.
Absolutely. Well, I'm
was
glad we got a
great.
bow made because
Well-
we tend to not think to do that.
Say we
and
will and we don't.
That's right. I've been having so much fun at the last couple weekends making bows on
Absolutely,
the weekend, so
that makes a beautiful
it
bow.
does. Well, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with some beautiful fresh greens. Welcome back, everybody, to Merrifield's Gardening Advisor. We are talking fresh greens today. I
Yes.
love this because the aromas are just so great.
They are very nice, yes. And what we're doing partly is sharing with you what Tina Sassada and I did last week at our Fresh Greens seminar,
Right.
teaching and so forth. Tina worked with me on that, and she is such a talented young lady. She can do the most beautiful arrangements, particularly weddings. She's done some
She has.
spectacular things. And so what we did was take a few pictures from that, which I want to show you because perhaps it will inspire you to try some of this yourself. This is actually fresh greens, and Tina, of course, works with the fresh flowers all the time, and so she frequently includes. But look, this is Christmas time, and we've had a run on tulips for years now. I love it. I love the poinsettias, I do, but it's nice to have had something else introduced. She uses a lot of roses and a lot of hydrangea, and so she has done that basic arrangement and then added the fresh flowers. And actually, if we come back to the desk, I would like to share with you some of the structure behind that. Because in our landscape, every landscape needs structure. It needs good bones. We need good bones. You need good bones in your garden. And you need good bones in your arranging. So before I start, when I'm working with fresh greens, and I do now at this time of the year often, I really need to protect my hands. My hands really get rougher treatment when I'm doing this than even when gardening.
Well, and all the sap and that type of thing makes everything sticky.
For years, and because I use all of these things, we have them. We have a product called Bag Balm. There's a little container, which is it's more cost effective to buy the big one, okay? But I like the little one because I take from the big one and put into here. And actually, this keeps my hands, if not soft, Debbie, you can't hold my hands. No. All right, rub it in carefully. Now, guess what? These foxgloves, which I've been using, I think, since they first came out, and the lovely lady who actually started all of this brought me several pair a while back.
I noticed you color coordinated too.
Did
That's
I? Oh
wonderful.
my goodness, is that not good? That was a happy accident. But then a lot of my things are happy accidents, okay? So after I put that on, then go those foxgloves. Let me tell you, I've used them for years. If you don't know what to give as a little gift in that stocking, this is it. Now, when I'm working with something that's wet, I will pull on a pair of these inexpensive.
Right.
The beauty of these is I can feel everything. All right, into the commercial. It isn't a commercial. It's what I believe.
Right.
Okay? And I'm sharing that because it's always worked for me. All right, let's talk about arrangements. Thank you. You can just hold that camera right there. This is a full block of Oasis. And it's actually in a wonderful little plastic bowl. You wet your Oasis thoroughly before you begin. This one is not wet because it would be messy, okay? And to create that arrangement, here's, if you're a novice, okay, here is what can help you. Determine how long you want that arrangement to be and measure the length, and you'll have them exactly the same, okay? And you will pull off the bottoms because you want to take care of your Oasis, and you will put one here and one here. You've now set the length of that. And then you cut two more, the same length again, and you put one here and one here, and you have set the width. Now, what else do we have to set to give you that complete structure? We need to set the height. And the height, as I said, should not interfere with the conversation. And so now you set the height. The basic bones are there. The next thing that you do, or that I do, is to fill in here, 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 here. That's your bones. And then you continue with the other. And Miss Deb's telling me that I need to move on.
So it's so exciting, but just wanted to make sure we got everything in.
Let's do that, because I want you to be inspired to try this. It isn't difficult.
That's right. Should we see a couple of the pictures?
Let's
do that. Okay, we've got a couple of shots to show you. Ah, that's gorgeous.
Okay, this is the same kind of thing. And you can see I've set the structure with the spruce that's in there. And then the filler is actually Chamaecyparis crypsi. That's the nice golden thing that picks up the color tone. And then I actually used a pick to pierce those fruits and put those into place. It could use a bow also, if you chose to, or 2 or 3 bows. Would work really well. Then this one, I left it without anything in it. You could do this. This is a smaller arrangement, done in a little round bow. Well, half a block of oasis. You could put your fresh flowers in here. Now you say, this arrangement is wet. It stays fresh. If you take it to your kitchen sink and wet it down every 2 or 3 days, it will last for weeks. The fresh flowers might not last for weeks. In fact, they won't. But what you can do is take out as they pass their prime and replace. Here is something that you wouldn't use as a centerpiece of a dining table, but maybe a sideboard. And it's using branches. We have some of the most beautiful branches. Don't you love the red ones and the golden ones? With just a very loose arrangement. So anything is possible with all this arranging, and as I said, you know, just do it, you know. Let's move on to the next picture, actually. And this is a fun thing. This is a fun thing that you really need to know about. We have so many questions from people about their containers outside. And if you have containers sitting there, you can take out some of the soil. You can put in, go to the greenhouses. They have plastic inserts, often that are used beneath pots and so forth, and find one that fits into your container.
Right.
Or we also have some paper mache things.
Yes.
And fill it with wet oasis and make your arrangements in it. And this will it will last for a very long time.
Well, as we go to the break, let's look at this beautiful last one with the lotus pods.
Go
this
out
is
with
so nice.
that. This is using Nandina berries and lotus pods. So there's so much. And magnolia leaves.
We'll be right back.
Oh my goodness, magnolia is wonderful. Pick up.
Hey, we've added a little something to this new set. This is fun.
We've put that TV to work.
That's right. That's right. TV is on, always on at my house. So we were talking fresh greens. We showed arrangements, but there's so many different things you can do with fresh greens.
There are, and actually showing you these various products, because there's so many Oasis products out there now that makes life so easy. The first picture that I wanted to share with you actually is a kissing bowl. And boy, the kissing bowls are really popular, you know. And they can be made in many different sizes. It can be all boxwood, it can be mixed as this one is. And that the center of that is actually a wonderful round piece of Oasis. And it comes netted. It's really, really easy to do. You can pick your own ribbon and put it above and below and actually put a piece of mistletoe there. And here again, if you take that down, take it to your kitchen sink, soak it and let it drip and put it back up. It's going to last for a very long. Here it is. Isn't that wonderful? What we went through a few years back, I would cut a block of Oasis and wrap it with chicken wire, for goodness sakes. Boy, I really needed the gloves then. Woo.
That's right.
All right,
I'm not sure what we've got at each store. We've got so many different Oasis products. So if you can't find it at one, we've got it at another.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll help you regardless.
That's right.
Okay. Now, I think we will show you, yes, the boxwood tree. On top
I
of that.
love the boxwood tree.
This is a wonderful cut greens one, and can be made again from 12 inches to 24 inches actually, and kept fresh for ages. Now I would like you to come back here and let me share with you what I think is so important. A lot of times people will use a cone to make this tree because it's the shape of a tree. And in my hand is how I do this, and I think it's important because it gives more support to the tree. This is a solid, full-size block of Oasis, thoroughly wet. And it can be put into a container. Again, I've got a wonderful little plastic container here that has little pegs in the bottom that holds it straight. I do not cut this into the shape of a tree because all of this will be a support system to what's above it. What I do is put my greens in, okay, for how wide I want it to be down here all the way around. Again, this is the skeleton of this thing. And if you don't exceed that, then you will have set your width. And then I pick a lovely, lovely piece and I put it in the top. And that's how you form your tree. You go in between and do the shape like so. And then if you stay within that line, let me give you one more tip. Do only enough stems to cover the territory. If you put too many pieces in here, you will lose that oasis. Don't do that. Put only enough stems to cover it. So that's really how I do that boxwood tree.
Okay, here, this beautiful picture.
This one we did last week for the seminar, and it's a fresh green wreath. Now, it is over a mantle. I personally, and I did this just to show the people, I love those custom wreaths, and we do custom wreaths in all 3 locations, and they are gorgeous, and they will last. We also dip them in wilt proof to help keep them fresh, but you'll have them for a long time. It's a good thing to use those outdoors and then to put your artificial over a mantle or a fireplace. But you can use fresh greens inside. When they're in water, they last forever. And so I did these 2 arrangements. That was a very narrow little mantle, you know. But I did the 2 arrangements, and I used fresh hydrangea in it.
Oh, that's great.
Because they last for such a long time. So think about using fresh in Oasis on your mantle.
Before we go on our break, you have a candlestick there that I think is just gorgeous.
really do want to show this. This is really easy, and I loved it because I talk about having things not interfere with conversation. You can have high things that you can talk around or through. And this, of course, I loved that candlestick. I picked it up in the shop yesterday. Okay. This is made in something that's particularly produced for the purpose. It has a place that you put it into your candlestick. I put in the round of the Oasis. You would be wet. And then I taped a little candle holder into it. Okay, so that is how this was created. And then I went back and picked the sweetest little ribbons and curled it over a pencil. Now, there were reasons for why I picked specific ribbons, and that's color coordination. This cryptomeria has the sweetest little cone things on it, and is the color of the bronze, and then I use the red candle. You know, you'd be surprised what goes together until you use it.
It really does.
So that was really
And that's half the fun, deciding what will go together.
So. Okay, do we have time for the swag? You want to hold
Let's go to break, and then we will come back and we'll pick that up.
I really do want to do that swag.
Okay, all right. We'll be right back.
All right.
Okay, I promised you that you could show this.
Yes, you did. And I want to.
That's right.
Because this is so easy to do, and it's so beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And Leo at our
Fair Oaks
location is sort of the leader of the pack, you know. Now, believe me, the pack's catching up.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing
There's
very
quite a
well.
pack out there.
It's just fun to watch these people work.
It is.
So I asked him to make some swags, and this has got to be the easiest thing you've ever done. It's totally beautiful, don't you think?
Absolutely.
And has the winterberry in it. I purposely didn't bring a lot of winterberry today because, yes, they do drop some berries,
Right.
and I really didn't want to mess up their set.
That's
Okay,
right.
Whatever. No,
Since we're guests.
not really, you know. But it's just beautiful and lasts all through the holidays. Variegation, the gold, the variegated holly, the beautiful cryptomeria against the solid green. And again, I used that pine cone ribbon there. Debbie, you're going to hold that.
Okay, I'm going to hold it.
She is just the best at this. Wonderful, wonderful partner here. The bow is tied on, but actually those branches are held in your hand in a group, wired together. That's all. Just wired
turn this around
together,
so you can see
please.
that. Yeah.
Simply wired together.
It's so simple.
Couldn't get better than that.
Really couldn't.
And then the bow on top.
And of course, the bow,
So-
I think the bow always makes it.
That's the,
myself.
And in here again, I didn't put that loop in the center, but you don't have to.
Right.
And so much, all the ribbon really is wired, and it's wonderful. And you can keep it from
What
year
an
to
assortment
year.
of ribbon this year.
Oh,
It
it's
really
great.
is.
It's good.
Okay. We have some
now,
pictures to
Now
show?
we can run through these pictures fairly quickly. What I want to do is to again be inspirational. We're going to talk about a different kind of inspiration in a little bit.
That
but
we
right
are.
now
We are.
we're talking about inspiration in decorating. This actually was not this year at the seminar, but a previous year, and it's a mock-up of a door using a garland and with ribbons streaming down from each side, and one of our custom wreaths hanging on the door with the over-the-door wreath hanger.
Right.
If you don't have one of these, it's a great thing, you know, it really is. Now, important thing to show you in this picture is a container with a boxwood in it, a live boxwood outside. On the other side is a wonderful bird bath, and an arrangement has been made in that bird bath
What a great idea.
with wet oasis, and in the center is a globe. You could burn a candle behind it. This could be in your house too. But as we're going through here, please remember that some of the best gifts that you could give is something for the garden. And bird baths are one of those things.
Absolutely.
You know? Here again, I had fun with this one. We had a beautiful display from Walpole. Walpole brought this in the spring. And when I walked by it, I said, oh, what a perfect thing to do. Because it had a window box, could be an over-the-rail box. And so I put just plastic containers from the greenhouse that would hold water, put the wet oasis in it, and simply push these stems down inside. And pronto, you've got it, you know. Here is a closer view. That's how those things were put inside, and then you put on a beautiful bow. It had a lantern, it had, I think maybe the next picture is the container, and we'll reiterate that container thing. I think we did, Debbie. Yes,
there we go.
did. Brought up a lovely concrete urn. Doesn't have to be concrete. You do not put water in any of your containers. It is very necessary to put a plastic container inside and then the oasis, because it's water expanding that breaks things. And you never want to leave a container outside sitting on bare ground, because the water will be absorbed into that pot and it's likely to break. I have clay containers go through the winter fine as long as they're on gravel or some surface. But this is beautiful, and boy, aren't those berries. That's that Ilex verticillata, and they are yummy, and they hold on forever. Here again, in a clay container with plastic pots, Oasis, Magnolia. This is just magnificent. Doesn't have a bow, doesn't have cones, could have. Next one, please.
Doesn't have to.
No, doesn't have to. Here again,
that's gorgeous.
do you have a freestanding unit? This was beautiful. Inside, guess what? Plastic containers, Oasis. Things pushed into that. Beautiful bow. That's all you need. Next one. Now,
I've got to ask about this. Who took this picture?
I didn't take that.
That wall's a little tilted there.
We will have to give Tina credit for that picture. And don't give Tina too hard a time.
I know, I'm just
You
kidding.
know, she was trying to capture this, and I was so glad she did. But it looks like the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
I know. There's a house down in Orlando that's on the tilt like that. It's like
It does not tilt, I can assure you, as the angle of the camera. But the value is, it shows you the beautiful urns that she did last week. Again, into this, she actually put those white paper mache.
Oh, yes.
Filled
Those
with
are great.
Oasis. And then guess what she did? She had them cut the birch logs and
yes,
use that.
yes.
It was beautiful.
Those are so nice.
Now,
Here's our
a
last
big
picture.
change of pace is just that simple custom wreath. You can have it with all the various greens, or this is the blue green. It's a big change, and it may be just what's needed for you. You know,
What's nice is you can get it plainer, or you can get it with more
Whatever.
embellishments. You can put a bow on it. You don't have to have a bow. You've got different sizes. Everything you need, we've got.
it's wonderful. So I do want to encourage you, and if you should come out, please say hello. I love it.
I know, it's
I love
fun.
it. You know. Plus, it tells me it's working.
That's
okay.
right. That's right.
If you're happy.
Right.
You know.
We're going to take another quick break, and we'll kind of look at some of the things in the landscape.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Yes.
Welcome back, everybody, to Merrifield's Gardening Advisor here in our temporary set downstairs at the Let's Talk Live set. So we're having fun.
I love it. It's very different. As I said, I feel very at home because I've got all my mess around me. That's how I work best.
Exactly.
You know? I clean it up when I'm finished.
There you go. Well, that's as long as it
Yeah,
gets cleaned up every
I
once in a
do.
while. That's the
Right.
main thing. Okay, we've got some pictures of the landscape now.
I really want to share this with you because I think it's important. One of the things that I have certainly in my landscape and in most landscapes are boxwood. And there are some issues going on with particularly the English boxwood. But you know, we're very caring at Merrifield Garden Center, and that's probably one reason I've been there as long as I have, is because of that. We're very cautious with things. This is actually a picture that was taken from Southern Living. Saunders Brothers, grown in Virginia. Third generation, getting ready for fourth generation, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. Has the most beautiful nursery down in Virginia, and we buy a lot of plants from them, particularly boxwood, which is their specialty. They are very careful with the cultivating of this so that they have no issues with their boxwood. So I wanted to mention that. In the next picture, this is a picture of the older generation, Mr. Saunders, going into his home.
Beautiful.
Boxwood is such a useful plant, and it's valuable for pruning at this time of year. Now, I am not talking about shaping it into a box, right? Or a square or whatever.
Or a globe.
I am talking about judicious pruning of greens to use them in your home.
Right.
And what you do is to reach down into that boxwood and make a few long cuts so that the air can move through it. You can make a few short cuts too. You don't want to ruin the shape of it at this
Right.
time of the year because you'd have to look at it until April, you know. But this is a good time to judiciously prune. And isn't that a wonderful way to say, come to my front door?
It is.
Sharing with you another boxwood that is invaluable. And bear in mind as we go along that all of these boxwood can be grown in containers. This boxwood is D-Runk, D-E-E-R-U-N-K. It is one that even a small landscape can utilize singly as a focus or in groups, as you see here. Grown, these were by Saunders Brothers. Beautiful boxwood. In the next picture, you will see a very, very traditional use of the English boxwood, but don't get hung up on just English boxwood because there's so many varieties out there right now. Isn't that fun?
That is.
I really love it, but wait to shear them until late March or April, okay? Just beautiful. And in the following picture, you can see why they're so important in the wintertime. Winter containers are part of the structure of the garden and a part of the interest of the garden. Here it is with snow on it. Now this is a slightly protected area, and those containers are at least 14 inches. 16 and 18 would be better. They are not sitting on the ground. They're sitting on slate or brick or whatever it is to keep it up off the ground. And I rarely lose one of these. Now, if you use these outside in a container that's really exposed and has a lot of wind, you might have to consider a little protection if the weather's really bad. In the following picture, again, you will see containers in the snow, but this is out in the garden. Again, look at the interest you've got there.
Oh, absolutely.
So don't be afraid to put these boxwood into containers. The following picture, you will see another thought, another idea of boxwood going up the steps.
That's great.
And the following one, your container plantings are not limited to boxwood. These are the spirals that are absolutely beautiful and can be used in containers and are quite hardy. Tiny little ones, can be used in window boxes even.
Right.
We've got very small ones that can do that, and really is spectacular. The little spruce make excellent containers.
So many choices.
Really, there are, and so I encourage you to do that. And in the following picture here again, inspiration. There is one of the upright boxwood that Saunders Brothers sells to us, and it's not D-Runk. That one is a little bit bigger growing. It certainly will grow to 12 feet, but you can control these by pruning, okay? And featured in front of that is a statue. I don't want to see 15 statues when I go out of the garden all at one time. That's not my style. But I absolutely love a statue as a part of the interest every now and then. Go out into the statuary section. There are some wonderful pieces, religious pieces or not. They're just beautiful, and I'd be delighted to have one of those under my Christmas tree.
Hint, hint.
I'd find a place to put it, and that would not be easy in my garden.
Well, so many wonderful uses for boxwood. This has been great. And again, Peggy will be heading right back to the store, and she's going to be making these wonderful arrangements at our Fair Oaks location. So
and if you come in, please say hello.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got a very special guest. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. Well, I'm very excited because we have a very special guest on today, somebody who's very special to me, my favorite youngest brother. I have four brothers, so I have to say.
And you know, we talked about inspiration when I was talking to you about the arrangements. Well, Kevin's our inspiration.
That's right.
Actually, he's sharing his father's inspiration.
That's right.
Your own
Kevin Warhurst. He is. You've been the project manager of the whole book project, which has been wonderful.
I have. Well, thank you. First of all, thanks very much for having me on here. I was kind of the project manager of the book, if you will. But like everything we do at Merrifield Garden Center, it's a group effort. And first and foremost, it's Sharon and Sal Rubel, the authors of the book, who did a fantastic job in telling our father's story. You know, it's interesting sitting here watching this program and all the other Merryfield's Gardening Advisor programs. It's about sharing things that we create, the beauty of nature, whether it's the arrangements, the holiday decorations and arrangements like you've seen today, whether it's container gardening that Peggy and so many other of our talented designers create, or beautiful landscapes that our designers go out and create. You want to share that beauty with others, and especially when it's things that you create that you're proud of. And with this book that we've written about my father, Bob Warhurst, we're very proud of it, and we're very proud of him and all that he's accomplished in his life. And that's what I wanted to take just a few minutes of your time today to share with you what this book is all about and why we're so proud of it and why I think that our readers will enjoy it. So thank you again for having me on. The book is called, for those of you who maybe aren't aware of it, it's called The American Dream, the Rags to Roses story of Bob Warhurst and the founding of Merryfield Garden Center. And it's really a remarkable story that we're, as I say, so proud of, because it depicts the life of a man who grew up in Alabama in the years immediately following the Great Depression and the rebuilding years that followed. He got his first job at the age of 7 years old to help support the family and put food on the table, and worked hard every day of his life. And he left school in the 8th grade and made his way up to Virginia, where he worked with his brother Lee, who many of our customers may be familiar with at our Fair Oaks location, where he worked for more than 2 decades. He was a greeter at our store. And so he worked for Mr. Lee laying brick, and he met our mother and married our mom, and then had my sister, and then my brothers, and then me. But his life has been spent focusing on his family and working hard and really living out the American dream. After he laid brick with his brothers, he started his own trash collection service. Then he started a secondhand store where he was selling a lot of things that, like today, that one man's trash is another man's treasure, and people were putting out in the trash, but it still had value. In fact, in my mom and dad's home in Fairfax, we still, to this day, as we gather as a family, drink out of a tea jug that came out of the trash nearly 50 years ago.
We do.
Stainless steel tea jug that came out of the trash. So we drink every sip of that Mom's great iced tea with pride. But as he did that, he started selling at a secondhand store called the Trading Post in Fairfax, Virginia, in the Camp Washington area of Fairfax. And then one day he started to sell plants out of there. And my dad grew up in Alabama, growing vegetables, tilling the family vegetable garden. And so his hands have always been in the earth and in the soil and working with growing beautiful things and things that nourish us, both for sustenance and for beauty. And so where he started out in life is really where he ended up in life. And it's been an amazing journey. And he started Merryfield Garden Center in 1971 with his partner and good friend, Buddy Williams. Buddy and Doris Williams and my mom and dad were right there as partners and friends from the very beginning. And 44 years later, Merryfield Garden Center has grown to 3 stores, as you all know, and a large landscape design build side of the business, and we've now grown, and we're very proud to say one of the largest independent garden centers in the country. So it's been a remarkable journey, and writing this book about our dad was a labor of love. We've enjoyed every minute of it, and it was a great time to reconnect and interview lots of people who were there and present for different parts of his lives, including family and friends and Merryfield Garden Center staff members that go back, like Peggy Beer here. I met Peggy when I was 5 years old, and when her daughter Michelle and I went to kindergarten together at Freedom Hill. And we've all been one big Merryfield family. So it's the Warhurst family, it's the Williams family, but it's the Merryfield family. And it's been an honor and a privilege to have Merryfield Garden Center and to grow up in a business where we're able to be surrounded by such great people and to have such great customers who we consider family. And so it's really been, like I say, a labor of love. And the big thing that I wanted to kind of share, because here we are in the spirit of the holidays and gift giving and being with family and loved ones and sharing and all that kind of thing. In selling this book, it's been out for a little over 2 weeks, and we have it in hardcover and in paperback. And we've sold hundreds and hundreds. We'll probably be by the end of this weekend, be closing in on 500 books that we've sold so far. But it's not about making sales. And by the way, a portion of the proceeds from each book that we sell will be donated to the American Cancer Society. But it's the feedback that we've been getting from the customers who have read it. And that's really what I wanted to talk about, was that it's a story of inspiration, it's a story of motivation that so many people are telling us. They're telling us when they read it, oh my gosh, I couldn't put it down, or I cried. And then after they've read the book, they come back in and they tell us they want to buy another one for their son, who's 18 years old and kind of lost and is in need of some direction in his life. One lady has a son in jail that said she was buying it for him, and when he gets out, he hopes we'll read this book and get him on the right path, because it's not a story about bragging or dollars and cents. It's a story about faith in your journey in yourself and believing in yourself, and that the human spirit is resilient, and the stick-to-itiveness of the American spirit that allows you to create the American dream. And that's what our father did, and we're so proud of him, and I really appreciate the opportunity to come out here and talk
And he
to you all
really
about it.
so much wanted you to do this because of the reactions that were really very unexpected to him.
It's
been
amazing.
so
And
wonderful
that was
to
how
see these.
inspirational people have found it, and it is. And it's fun, but it's funny. It's not all serious. It's hard work and a dream.
And he's made his couple of
Yes.
share mistakes along the way, and
Haven't we?
learned from them, and redoubled up his efforts and worked hard every day of his life. And he's been a loving and supportive father and an entrepreneur. And he loves gardening, and he loves gardeners. So he loves having
the
Merrifield Garden
customers.
Center. Thank you all for
Kevin,
shopping there.
thank you so much for coming
Yes.
on. We are
Thank you. Thank
so
you for
proud,
having
so
me.
proud of this book, so proud of everything that you
It's
all
beautiful.
have done. So
Thank you.
Yes.
thank you all for joining us today. Come by and see us at Merrifield Garden Center next week. Peggy, David, and I will all be here for our Christmas show.
Yes.
So have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Merry
Bye-bye.
Christmas, everybody. Thank you.